Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sippin' on Stories podcast. I am Andy Corey, and I'm your host, and I'm so delighted that you're here. I know everybody has been just dying all week to know if my coconut creamy Dr. Pepper came in my grocery order, and I'm here to tell you that yes, it did, so you can rest easy. You can be happy for me knowing that right next to me I have my coconut creamy Dr. Pepper drink, and it has been so good. I have missed it. I hope you all got it as well. I am here to remind you about your opportunity to come on this podcast with me. I know you all want to. So if you have a story, please go find my Submit a Story highlight on my Instagram page at Sippin' on Stories podcast. And put in your information and I can get back to you. I know that there are still people that are waiting for me to reach out to them. I have not forgotten about you. I will be reaching out soon, I promise. So just put your information in there so that I have it organized. I'm trying to be as organized as I can. Or, as I've said, you can email me at sippinonstoriespodcast@gmail.com as well. If you choose to do that, just put in just like a 1 to 2 sentence snippet idea of what your story will be about so that I have an idea. Also, if you are enjoying this show, share it with your family and your friends. Every time someone says that they've shared it with somebody, I just get so happy. So go ahead, keep doing that. Leave a comment on any of the episodes on Spotify, follow along, rate the show, all the things that people tell you to do. And I would really appreciate that. For today's episode, we have my sister on it. So that was kind of fun just to get to hang out with my sister for a little bit, have her share a story with me that I know that I've probably heard a little bit about at some point in my life, but it felt new to me as she was sharing it with me. Here she is. Her name is Amy, if you know her from the time she was 13 on, or if you're me, her name is Michelle, because that is what we grew up calling her. That is her middle name. That's what she went by up until she decided when she was a teenager she wanted to go by Amy. So call her whatever you want, but here she is. I have my sister today on the podcast, and I'll start by asking her the same question I've asked everybody. Okay, and this is going to be tricky because she actually goes by Amy to the whole world. However, to me, she goes by Michelle. So if I call her Amy or Michelle at various times, that's why. So Michelle,
yes,
tell everyone what your favorite drink is.
It kind of flip-flops. I don't feel like I would say 80% of the time it's going to be Diet Mountain Dew. But every now and then you kind of just get, you want something new, right? And then I go to Diet Pepsi. Mm-hmm. I just flip-flop between the two, but more times than not, it's Diet Mountain Dew.
That's what I normally see in your hand.
Yeah.
It's a Diet Mountain Dew.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Diet Pepsi, it's got to be, I have to be in the mood for it. Mm-hmm. But when I'm not in the mood for Diet Dr. Pepper or Diet Mountain Dew, I go for the Diet Pepsi. Mm-hmm. It's like my backup.
Yeah. Just a quick interjection here. As I was editing, I remembered that my sister told me at the end of recording that her favorite thing to drink is actually not a Diet Mountain Dew, but a good margarita. So I said, just because we're on this podcast and I love soda does not mean that everybody's favorite soda, that everybody's favorite drink has to be a soda. So she said I could just, squeeze that in here if I wanted to. Okay, so we're changing up the vibe of the story today.
Yes.
So, Michelle, let's hear what you have for us.
You'll have to forgive me because you might notice I'll go back and forth as I kind of recount or recollect certain parts of the story. But yeah, I also want to preface by saying I don't necessarily believe in ghosts. But this is the one and only time in my life where I was like, what in the world just happened? I couldn't explain anything. And I had a witness, mom. She was technically part of the story. And so
you can't say it was all in your head.
Right, right. Because it was me, my friend, and the mom. And it was just everybody corroborated each other's stories, right? But I've always kind of wondered, because where I don't believe in ghosts, you have to ask yourself, well, then what could it have been? And so you start wondering, like, well, maybe there is such thing as multiple universes, and sometimes our universes collide, and like that thin veil between the universes, like maybe someone in universe 39XB accidentally knocked over the peanut butter on their counter, and you hear it as a thunk on your roof. Does that make sense?
Start really overthinking what in the world it could be. Yeah.
Any type of excuse. But so I guess I'll just kind of start. But I want to say it was when I was in 8th or 9th grade. I can't remember how old I was, but I was friends with, I have to think of names because I don't have to make up a name. Yeah, I'll just go with Kiwi.
Okay.
Kiwi, that's my cat's name right there, so she'll take the fall for
her hairless cat. For those listening, it's disgusting.
It's like
disgusting.
It looks like you took a potato sack and you squished it over a body of a rat.
Yes.
And adorable.
No.
Anyway. Yeah, Kiwi. Okay, so it was like 8th or 9th grade, and at the time, my best friend Kiwi and I, we would always go to her house because it was the cool house, right? She, where we live, you drive up into the mountains. It's away from the city, and it's more up in the mountains. So lots of dirt roads, winding roads. You feel more like you're in a forest than you are in a city once you get up there. So she had this really big house, and a lot of it was big windows. So lots of glass. I called it the glass house, which your memory, thinking back, it probably wasn't that many windows, but it felt like it. And so we were up there, and her grandparents, who were the ones raising her, so I was spending the night, I should say. Yeah, I was spending the night, and it was probably like 10 o'clock at night, and it was in the middle of winter time, so the weather was horrible. It was snowing, and her grandparents came down and said, hey, your great-grandma, so her grandma's mom, basically, had slipped on some ice or something and shattered her hip, and so they needed to go meet her at the hospital. But we were old enough to where they could just leave us, right? So they're like, we got to go. We don't know when we'll be back. We may even have to stay the night. So you guys take care of yourself, and we'll stay in. I mean, there weren't cell phones back then, right? They could have called.
Weird to think about.
They could have called the landline, or
back in the day.
So, of course, us as like 15-year-old girls were like, yeah, but nobody's watching us. We can eat all the cookies, and there's no supervision. So we didn't decide to eat all the cookies. We were like, nobody's watching us. We can break all the rules, right? And we're like, let's watch a rated R movie. So we decided the worst place to do it, which was her creepy basement, because the way her basement was set up, it was like a walkout basement. So there was a deck that kind of wrapped around her house on what would have been the main level. But when you went downstairs to the basement, there was a window looking out where the deck kind of, I'm trying to articulate this so you can envision it, because all you're hearing is my voice. But anyways, there's this eerie kind of nook underneath the deck that the window peeks out into. And at night, it's just spooky, because all you see is this pitch black window, and critters can come under that deck, and it's just a creepy little nook under her deck. And so I don't know, I think we were watching like I Know What You Did Last Summer or Scream,
something like
that to make us super scared. We were probably like 30 minutes into the movie, and all of a sudden this big black dog, big black dog. We thought it was a wolf. I'm sure it wasn't, but
Kiwi didn't have a dog, did she? Or did she?
No, nope. Okay. She didn't have any dogs. And keep in mind, this is up in the middle of the hills. Like, you don't have next door neighbors right next. It's like miles until your next door neighbor. So this dog wasn't just like hop, jump across the fence, neighbor's dog. And it was just staring at us through this under nook deck window. And it started like baring its teeth. I'm like, what is going on? And that just kind of set the tone to creep us out
for the rest of the night.
It looked like a wolf. It was this dirty, mangled, shaggy-haired black dog. You know, like in Harry Potter, Sirius. He's a black dog, isn't he?
I was supposed to say Severus, but Severus, yes, Sirius.
Yeah,
Sirius Black.
He kind of looked like that,
okay.
like just a mangled, gross, scary-looking dog. And he was just growling at us and baring his teeth from the side of the window, and so that freaked us out. We decided to go and lock all the doors because, you know, dogs can open doors, right?
Of course.
We had to take all precautions necessary. So, yeah, we went and locked every single door in the house because it just freaked us out. And the movie ended, and we were upstairs. We had made some nachos. And so Kiwi was at the sink washing off her plate of nachos, and I was just, I don't know, doing something. And all of a sudden, you just hear her go... like a scared gasp, like something caught her off guard. I'm like, what? She's like, I just saw a man in a white jumpsuit, like, cross our front yard. And it's like, what? Because her grandpa did a lot of gardening, and he always wore this white, it kind of looked like a surgical suit. Like, he would just wear this big plastic white jumper so he could get muddy. And so I was like, your grandpa's probably just home. You know, they took care of your grandma and their back
in the
night
in his jumpsuit.
In his jumpsuit, yeah, which he didn't leave in. Made perfect sense once again. She's like, no. This was not my grandpa. They're fast, like they were running across the front yard, and you try to talk yourself out of it's something that it's not, right? I was trying to make excuses,
justify it,
just
or,
right,
wait,
trying
justify?
to. Yeah.
Explain it away.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's got to be her grandpa. But she was adamant, it's not him, it's not here. So when she gasped, she like shattered the plate in the sink. And I'm trying to remember what happened next. But, oh, okay, yeah. So she sees this shadow or this jumpsuit person go by the window. And as soon as she kept saying, no, it wasn't my grandpa, or yeah, it wasn't my grandpa, we decided, okay, we need to hunker down and hide somewhere that we couldn't be seen, because again, she's got big glass windows all over. Like, if somebody really is outside, they're going to see us exposed. We're standing in the middle of the kitchen, the lights are on, so we decided, let's turn off all the lights and hide, like duck behind the counter. So that's what we did. We decided to duck behind the counter, turned off all the lights. And so keep in mind, this is the middle of winter time. And so that deck that I was telling you about, that wraparound deck on their house, they had Christmas lights around that. And where it's middle of the night, the Christmas lights are on. Out of all of a sudden, we see what you could see, the Christmas lights being blacked out. But as if somebody was walking across them, like they were on the deck and walking. There was a shadow figure that was like blinking out the lights that passed, because it was so dark outside. You couldn't actually see anybody, but you saw like maybe a dozen Christmas lights get blocked out and work its way down the line because you knew something was passing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And so we see these Christmas lights getting blocked out, and then they would turn around, and then they would go again. But they started going fast, like zip, 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 like they were running. And it almost looked like the Christmas lights were doing their like a pattern. Yeah, because it was going so fast. And but there were a couple of them, like just zip, 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 zip. And Kiwi and I at this point are just hyperventilating,
crying, pooping your
freaking out
pants,
because we're all alone in the middle of the forest. We locked all the doors and everything, so we feel semi-safe. But it's a terrifying experience when there's someone outside, clearly running around the deck, right? And so I'm like, that's it. I'm calling the cops. Someone's out in the yard. And he was like, yeah, we need to do that. So we're crawling on the kitchen trying to find the landline because, again, there's
got to get to the house phone.
You get the house phone, pull it off the wall, and kind of crawl our way back, army style, on the floor and hide behind the counter again. So I call up the cops, and like 911 was, and I just told them, I said, this is where the address is. There's somebody trespassing. They're running around the house. They're that's really all I could give them, though. Like,
That's all that was happening.
Yeah, that's all I knew. She's like, okay, well, I was so scared at this point that I forgot. So what happened to make us think there's actually somebody, like a physical person out here, not just shadows,
an animal
or squirrel,
yeah.
right? So the Christmas lights on the deck, they had a timer. They would go off at midnight. And it was probably like 10:30, 11 o'clock, something like that. And the area that they were plugged in, there was there were 4 sections of lights. So each one had to get plugged in, right? Well, we start hearing this click, and then a section of lights would go off, and then you'd hear click, and another section of lights would go off. So you knew someone was out there individually plugging, like unplugging them, like from the outlet. Because if it was a power outage, they all would have gone off at the same time. But no, it was like one by one they were getting unplugged. So at this point, it's pitch black.
All the lights are off.
All the lights are off.
Oh
the Christmas light isn't, like, they aren't shining any like dim lights into it. There's nothing. And so that's when I'm on the phone with 911, I'm hyperventilating.
Are you crying?
I'm crying. Yes, I am definitely. Me and Kiwi are just bawling our eyes out. And something that always will stand out to me is how unsympathetic the dispatcher was. She was getting really mean. She's like, shut up, stop crying, tell me what's going on. I'm like, I can't, please be nice to me, I'm really scared. And she was just not nice. That's one detail about this whole ordeal where I was like, that just stood out to me a lot easier. Like, some of these other details, I have to remember them, but that one I never forget because it was that bad. She was just not nice.
Which part of me wonders, I'm like, okay, if you have to have that job, I almost applied to be a dispatcher once after working in the prison. I was like, oh, maybe I could do that. You know, I'm pretty tough. I could be a dispatcher. Not that I need to be tough, but then I started thinking about it, and I was like, no, I don't think my emotions could handle it. But I'm like, maybe they just like have to be in that spot so they don't get affected by like every call that comes in, or even just like not get emotional themselves.
Almost sound robotic in everything that they do.
I don't know. Anyway, that's terrible.
And maybe that could be the case, where she just genuinely had to remove herself emotionally from the situation, and I needed somebody emotional. I needed somebody to validate you. Yes, I needed somebody to cry with me. Okay. And I got so upset that I hung up on her.
Oh, you did?
She was that mean to. I was like, I'm gonna go. So
I'll just die. It's okay.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at that point, because I didn't feel like she took me seriously. She kept telling me to shut up. I'm like, that's a very strong, like, phrase.
Yeah. Instead of just like, oh, calm down. Please stop talking. Yeah. Let me answer a couple questions for me.
Yeah. No, it was just shut up. And so I'm like, okay, fine. I'm gonna hang up. And so then I decided to call Mom, and. So I call up Mom, and I'm like, of course I do the dramatic, I love you, I'm going to die tonight, right? And so I feel like I'm missing a part of the story. Okay, so we've talked about how we saw the jumpsuit man. Okay, we saw the jumpsuit man. And also, if you can hear my dogs barking in the background, I apologize. But yeah, so we saw the jumpsuit. We saw the Christmas lights, the figures or whatever zooming around the deck, the dog that kind of set the tone, and then the Christmas lights getting unplugged. Yeah, okay, so we're here. I'm in the right spot. So I decide I'm going to call my mom because she will understand me. She'll cry with me.
she'll run to save you.
Yeah, and so I call her up and I was like, Mom, I'm up at Kiwi's house right now. Something's happening. At that point, we'd also gotten some knives from like the butcher board
to protect you.
Yeah, we genuinely thought I mean, what else would you think, right?
Have you seen the movie When a Stranger Calls?
I don't think so.
You've never seen When a Stranger Calls? Mm-mm. That was like the scary, like the thriller of my childhood.
Maybe I have seen it. It's just not ringing a bell.
She's babysitting, and there's a man in her house, and he keeps calling her.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I remember a trailer for it, but I don't think I actually saw it.
Well, you need to watch it.
Okay.
But it's like giving me those feelings because it's kind of saying like in this dark house, kind of in its
isolated
own area,
in the middle of nowhere.
Like I mean, obviously, we weren't getting phone calls, but that's the feeling that my insides are feeling as I'm watching When a Stranger Calls. Wait, what?
Yeah. Yep. Just wait. I'm getting there.
Okay.
So, it's maybe not that dramatic,
but still.
So I'm on the phone with Mom and telling her this is it. I'm gonna die. I love you. And of course, Mom is like, tell me what's going on. I'll come get you. Just calm down. And so we're having this moment where I'm telling her my final words, and she's freaking out. But it was at least a 20-minute drive to get me.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
And again, no cell phone. So as soon as she would have hung up the phone, now that we're both mothers, you could probably understand like that 20-minute drive of not being able to connect, or it's just pure. I don't know what's going on with
praying
my kid.
that
you make it in time. You don't. Yeah. So I can only imagine the fear that Mom had. And so, kind of to give you some context, she was her grandparents were wealthy. What I mean by that is they had things that we didn't have. So, like, you know how
they had Lunchables in the fridge. Yes. You know, they had soda.
You know how when we needed to get a hold of someone in our house, we'd pound on the wall and boom, boom, like, come get dinner.
Yep.
No, they had phones in every single one of their rooms. Like
an intercom system.
Intercoms,
yep.
Yeah.
I
always thought that was so cool.
It is cool. So I still think it's cool when houses have something like, wow.
Yeah. It wasn't necessarily like like an intercom on the wall, but they each had like an actual phone. You'd pick up off the clicker and you'd call up and be like, Grandma, bring me a soda. And you could call from within the house.
You didn't have to yell through the laundry chute.
That's funny.
Anyway.
Yep. So I'm on the phone with Mom, and all of a sudden, Mom and I hear a click, and Mom's like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "You hear that too, Mom? Like you hear that too?"
Like she heard, like someone's on the line.
You could hear this, like someone breathing into the phone.
This is When a Stranger Calls.
I promise I'm not making this up.
No, it's not When a Stranger Calls. I'm just saying.
It's reminding you of that.
Yeah.
So you hear this click, and you just hear this like really low, raspy, just like.
And where is Kiwi? Is she
right next
by
to
you?
me?
Okay.
Yeah, she's right next to me. It was kind of a small corner by the counters that we were hiding against. We were trying to make ourselves as small as we possibly could, and so I was like, Mom, someone's in the house. Like, they've made it inside the house.
Mom just is trying to... Oh, my gosh. I can't imagine what she's feeling. Where's Mom? We need to ask her.
I know. It's like you'll have to maybe do, like, a prelude or whatever they call those.
In my post show.
Yeah.
This is what Mom said.
So you hear this breathing. It's really low and shallow. You could tell it's a man. And they say a name. And I can't for the life of me recall what they said. It was like Rob Barker, or like it was so random. I thought it was just going to be breathing, right? Because that creeps you out. Just the breathing, the imminent. I'm here and I'm going to kill you breathing.
Yeah.
But no, they actually said like their name. For some reason, Rob stands out, or Robert, but they just go like, for example, Robert Smith. So they're just Robert Smith, and then they hung up. And that's scary in and of itself. Mm-hmm. Mom heard it on her end, because now we're on like a three-way phone call at that point. So she heard it. She's like, Michelle, I'm coming to get you. So she hung up. And at this point, 911's trying to call me back because I hung up on them, right?
Yeah.
At least I think so. That's the story that lives on in my head. And I was able to get back on the phone with 911, tell them, like, okay, now they're in the house. My mom heard it. She's on her way. But
I'm
if you can
crazy.
I'm not crazy, but if you can get here faster, please do.
Yeah.
But what really was, I think the part of this whole thing that had me on edge the most was the way that the corner of her dining room that we were squished in by the counter looks kitty corner to the stairs to her basement. Okay. And your peripheral is blocked because you've got the wall on one side and you've got the counters on the other. So all you can see
is the stairs.
So if you have your eyes open, you are looking at stairs. If you close them, you can't see anything. But you know how in scary movies, the stairs, like, either they're super pitch black at the bottom and you can't see what's going to come up,
or vice versa.
Or it's like a certain angle where you're just waiting for something to come up the stairs and turn the corner and just rush at you. Mm-hmm. That's what it totally felt like, because the phones that he would have had, the house phones were downstairs, where we were when we were watching the scary movie, where we had locked the doors, right? We had already locked the doors. And so I couldn't help myself. It was so terrifying, but I could not peel my eyes away from that staircase, just waiting for someone to just crawl up. That's when you're that scared, your brain makes up the stupidest, scariest thing. Like, in my mind, it wasn't just going to be some normal dad-looking guy.
You're going to have the girl from The Ring coming up the
somebody
stairs.
walking up in a back handspring, like crawling on the walls. Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, someone is going to, like a spider, just crawl up these stairs on their little tippy-toe fingernails and just come charging at me. Mm-hmm. It never happened. But for
I would assume so.
It felt like for 20 minutes, my heart was pounding, staring at the staircase, waiting for this Bob Richard or whoever to come upstairs and kill us. Anyways, so Mom finally gets there and scares the crap out of me because she's pounding on the door. And I'm like,
and she doesn't, like, she has a phone to be like, it's me.
Yeah. So we hear this pounding on the door, but I see it's her. So I let her in. I'm having a full-on meltdown. Is it Michelle or Amy? I guess whoever. At the time was I still Michelle?
She never changed to calling you Amy.
Yeah, that's true. So she would have called me Michelle. But yeah, she's like, Michelle, just calm down. I'm here. And maybe 5 minutes later, the police showed up and they were trying to get our statements. And that was the other thing that was really frustrating about it, is they didn't. But here's the thing too. As a 36-year-old woman, I can relate to how annoyed they probably were. Like, here are these 15-year-old kids who watched a scary movie and they're using our time and resources. They're home. So in hindsight, I can understand why they would have done it. But put yourself in the shoes of a 15-year-old terrified girl who is being dismissed. Like, you're just making all this up. You're wasting our time. And Mom was even like, officer, I was part of this. I heard someone. Whoop.
What was that?
It was my.
Just added some.
No, I dropped something but your face, so that was perfect timing. But yeah, so she's telling the officer, this really happened. My kid isn't crazy. And he's like, well, ma'am, we have proof. Like, there's nobody here. And Mom's like, well, what do you mean by that? And they said, it's winter time. There is fresh snow outside. We have checked everywhere. And there's no footprints. Like, none. The deck where we saw
the lights
blacking out as something was running around the deck, no footprints.
Fresh snow.
They went into the Christmas lights, they were unplugged. Something unplugged them, but no footprints. There was nothing there to indicate that anyone had ever physically stood there. And then the other kicker, so we locked the doors after the scary dog, right?
They weren't unlocked, were they?
Mm-hmm.
No, they weren't.
The downstairs door
they were not.
Was unlocked, and the screen door was open, but no footprints. No footprints at all.
The door was open?
The door was open. And so that's kind of like I can't explain it. I don't believe in ghosts, but that was the one thing where I was like, how else do you explain everything that happened? There's physical evidence. We've got the back door unlocked, open. We've got the Christmas lights unplugged. Like, but there's no
proof of
a
human
physical
body.
Body ever being there. And to this day, I'm like, what? I don't know. I don't have a good answer for it.
Did Kiwi's grandparents come home? Or did she come stay at our house? What happened there?
So after we ended up turning on all the lights, relocking the doors, I think her grandparents came back a couple hours later.
And then
no, I think I did go home with Mom. I can't remember.
And just said, see ya, Kiwi, have fun.
Yeah. I honestly can't remember. Maybe I was just so traumatized that everything after that I just blacked out. But I think maybe I did go home. But truth be told, I can't say that with 100% certainty. Mm-hmm. But now that you bring that up, I think we did.
I don't know if Mom would have wanted you to stay. Like, actually, you can stay here.
Yeah, I think she did take me and Kiwi to our house until her grandparents were able to go back home.
Yeah.
Yeah. But tell you what, I was terrified of her house after that because I was like, shut all the windows. I don't want to see anything that's going on outside. I feel so vulnerable and open to the world. Like, shut all the blinds, shut all the windows. I don't want to see anything out there. Yeah. I think I maybe spent the night one other time, but that was enough to make me not want to
go there.
Mm-mm. Yep. Every time I drive up there in that part of town, I'm just reminded of what happened. It was really scary. So that's like my ghost story.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, it's like in my head, I was there.
That means I did a good job telling you.
Well, like in the car with Mom. But I'm sure it's just me remembering taking you to her house at some point. But I'm liking to put myself in the story and be like, no, I was there and I picked you up.
Yeah.
But I wasn't.
Yeah, Hadley was home when I called Mom freaking out. And so he witnessed Mom freaking out. Yeah. He said that she was like unhinged. She was so scared.
Because he was the one that reminded you about this story.
Yeah.
So was because he was like, wrong, I saw this interaction.
Hadley was like, hey, sis, why don't you tell your ghost story? I'm like, I'm not, like, some of your podcasts are like 30 minutes, 40 minutes long. I'm like, I could try to drag this out as long as I can, but usually...
It's been 35 minutes.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, I mean, the beginning, maybe 5 minutes take off. But
yeah, because that's what I was worried about. I'm like, I don't know if this will really be that good of an episode, because it's really not a lot. And so you have to try to spread it out.
No, I understand. Well, even like Mom's, hers was only a 20-minute episode. And that was a big story, like with Eric.
Yeah.
But still, I'm like, it's just, anyway, I don't know. Time is weird because it's like you can make a shorter story long, but also like a story that has a lot of meat to it, really short.
Yeah, I guess it's all how you describe it. But, yeah, I've always wondered what happened to that house, if it's still up there, because it was an older house. Mm-hmm. And there's been fires and stuff up there, so I don't know if it's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's even still there anymore, but, yeah, that was just so creepy.
Well, it does kind of make me want to go home and watch When a Stranger Calls. Even though Brett's not home, I shouldn't do that. Because I wouldn't be able to fall asleep, probably. I become a baby when he's gone. I can't...
I like watching documentaries. Like, when it's just me and my daughter's asleep, and I have some me time, I like watching documentaries.
I binged The Pit.
No, I started that. I couldn't really get into it.
Yeah, go through a few more episodes.
Okay.
The first two, I was like, okay. But then at the end, I'm like, oh, I wanted more.
You know what I really like watching? It's called You Can't Ask That. It's on Netflix. It's a series where they bring on a lot of different demographics of people. So, like people in wheelchairs, people who have terminal illness diagnoses. Basically, just all types of backgrounds, cultures, disabilities, and they just what they do is they have people go online and ask anonymous questions, and they're the questions that
You don't want to ask.
Yes, that everybody's asking in their mind, but you don't ask because you're worried, is this inappropriate? Is this not polite to ask?
I feel like coming from this podcast where I just want to know all those details, that sounds like of one I would probably
You
enjoy.
would really like it. Yeah, like, I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, like when you see someone in a wheelchair,
you want to know why.
You want to know what happened. Why'd you end up in a wheelchair? But you never ask because that's not polite, right? Yeah. Well, this show is asking all those tough questions.
Interesting.
And they answer them, and it's fascinating.
Maybe I'll go home and watch that tonight
instead
of When a Stranger Calls.
Probably.
You can watch When a Stranger Calls.
Yes.
Have your husband protect
I'll report back to you and tell you just how similar it is. But yeah, that's the one and only time that I've had that type of an experience. I mean, we all get scared, right?
No, but that's a legit
But that's one. Like, I call it a ghost story, but I don't know what happened.
Someone came, and then the snow kept falling and it covered up their fresh footprints.
But it never snowed. Like, it was just fresh snow.
It wasn't snowing? It was...
No, it was just fresh snow but it
earlier on or something.
Yeah, but it was deep snow because, again, you're up in the mountains.
Yeah.
And so it was probably like 6 or 7 inches deep. And it's not something that you could easily, even if it was snowing,
you couldn't just like cover
that's 6 to 7 inches of depth that would have had to reach. So yeah, it's, no, I still
it's creepy.
Don't know. But yeah, that's my story.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. I've told it better. I think as time goes on and the small details have been lost on me, I forget. And like when this was a fresh story, I could make it a good story.
Oh, I bet.
Like, because you could still see the fear behind my eyes. Yeah. It was bringing up a traumatic memory. Now it's just like,
20 years ago.
I think that's happened.
Yeah.
But no, so who knows? Maybe I am missing certain details that have been lost to history, just my aging mind. But the few things that I did point out, it's because those really stuck with me. Staring at a staircase for 20 minutes, waiting for spider, alien, rain girl to come crawling up.
I'm gonna call Mom, and I'm gonna ask her what her reaction was.
You should. And maybe if you can record it.
I know, and I'll see if I can record it.
Yeah.
So.
I'd be curious to see what her answer is. In fact, I might just stick around and listen to you call her.
I could call her right now.
Yeah, you could.
Okay, well, we're going to get off this so I can call my mom.
Okay.
Thanks, Michelle.
Bye. I don't know how that would work. I don't either.
This call is being recorded.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
How come it says
this call is being recorded?
Because I just recorded Michelle's podcast episode, and she was telling me about the ghost story at Kiwis.
Yes.
I know, but I was like, that's the pseudonym we're using, aka Kiwi's house. And we wanted to know what it was on your side, what your reaction was to getting her phone call.
I was pretty calm. Like, I knew that they were, Well, I knew that they were worried and upset, but I didn't put any credibility that there were ghosts out there. I just thought they've been spooked, and do you need any help, or do you want me to come by, or anything like that? But it was pretty much.
What about when you heard the person on the phone?
I don't remember that.
No.
What are you speaking about?
So remember when I called you, I was hyperventilating, telling you my last words because I thought I was going to die. And so had like an in-home phone system, kind of like how, you know how when we try to get a hold of someone, we knock on the walls?
Yes.
She had an intercom system. Like she had actual phones in each of her, in the rooms. So
yes, she had the same thing.
Yeah. And so when I was on the phone with you, that's when I heard the phone click, and I was like, Mom, there's someone in the house. Like, they're on the other line right now. And there was, like, the breathing on the other end, and then whoever was on the phone with us said their name, and it was, like, Robert something. And then they just hung up. And I know you heard it because you were like, what was that? I'm like, someone's in the house. They're on the other phone. So I'm surprised you don't remember that part.
Oh, I don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you know me in my memory.
No, it's okay, because Hadley said he was there and he witnessed you, like, after you hung up. Apparently you were a mess.
Oh, really? Yeah, I don't have any memory of that. I remember you being upset and worried, but I was trying to settle you down so you wouldn't be so worried.
Yeah. Well, she didn't die, so I guess your brain figured that it didn't need to remember that traumatizing event.
Yeah.
Right.
But you do remember how the police officers thought we were crazy because they couldn't find any footprints outside.
Right.
Yeah. And they got mad at us. They said we were wasting their time and resources because there was no proof that anybody was ever actually there. Except for the fact that the doors were unlocked and the Christmas lights had been unplugged.
Oh. Yep, I remember the incident, but I don't remember the details or my emotions during the incident.
Okay, well.
I'm sorry, I can't add to that.
That's okay. That's okay. We were just curious. All right.
I'm glad Hadley can add to it.
Oh, yeah.
That gunpowder goes really fast.
All right.
All right. Love you.
Love you too. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, I know that you couldn't hear exactly on that phone call. It wasn't the best quality, but my sister and I were just laughing at how funny it was that my mom was like, oh yeah, no, I wasn't worried at all. I was just like, oh, I know it's not a ghost, but anyway, so that was kind of funny. I should actually reach out. So Hadley is my brother, my other brother. I should actually ask him what he remembers of that, since he's the one that has the memory of my mom. But again, that was just kind of funny. Just goes to show you that everybody's memory is different about every experience, even if they go through, the same, even if they're both involved in the same thing. So, I hope you enjoyed that, different from some of our other episodes. And that is what I'm here to tell you is, if you have a story, it does not need to be a big, huge, life-changing story. It could also just be, the one night, oh, this scary thing happened one time, or this really funny thing happened one time. It can be a short story too. I really enjoy hearing those. So if you have a story like that, love to hear it. Thoroughly enjoyed listening to my sister. Hope you did too. I am going to watch When a Stranger Calls. I am also really interested in watching what did my sister say it was called? You Can't Ask That, or something along those lines, on Netflix. I'm intrigued. Understandably so, considering I want to be the person that asks all those questions to all the different people. So if you need a couple of good shows to watch, maybe start there. Or The Pit, because I also mentioned The Pit and it was really good. So, okay, you have a wonderful week, and I will see you here again next week for another episode of the Sippin' on Stories podcast.